Hi! For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mateo Lewis, and welcome to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm in rehearsals right now for Forever Plaid at the Falls View Casino, so I don't have a ton of time. So I'm not going to be able to edit a full video up to kind of the standard that I like to keep things on this channel, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist that way. I'm going to kind of harken back to my old days when I was just like a stupid college kid who put a phone up in his room and filmed himself talking for 20 minutes straight in one take and hoped people would watch it. So we're going back for that vibe today. This video is kind of a continuation of a video I posted a few weeks ago. You can check that out up here. And it was a video about how to sight sing with one simple exercise, which is basically to learn the solfege syllables. That's to say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and then learn how they all relate to the major scale that they're a part of and how they all sound. So the idea is that if we know we're in G major, ooh, wow, that's a lot of, I don't know why that choral vocal is up so high. This is the fun part about doing one take. So if we know we're in G major, we know that if we're gonna sing, we know that this is what do sounds like. And do, that's what do sounds like. And then we can sing up in our heads, do, re, mi, fa, so. So then we know what so sounds like, etc., for all of the notes in the scale. We can pick out mi, do, so, fa, ti, do. You know, we can do that if we know the solfege scale. But how do we know what key we're in? How do we know where do is? And so that's where this video comes in. This is all about major scales. You don't have to know a whole lot about music theory or about major scales in order to know enough to sight sing. So today is not going to be a whole crash course on how major scales work. If you're a huge music theory buff, you know, we're not going to get into tone, tone, semitone stuff. We're just going to talk about the very, very basics of how you can identify from what's written in the music, how you can identify where do is, and then how you can identify where re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do are based on where do is. So we're going to start with this little diagram. If you've ever taken a music theory course, you probably recognize this. The acronym is Father Charles Goes Down and Ends Battle, but I have no idea what that means. I also like Father Christmas Goes Down and Eats Biscuits, like going down the chimney to eat cookies on Christmas Eve kind of thing. Father Christmas Goes Down and Eats Biscuits. But that's the acronym, because basically every major scale is made up of a combination of these notes. And they loop around, you know? So we've got this loop of all of the note names, the letter names of the notes, which kind of in Western music theory is often how we refer to specific pitches, and then solfege is often how we refer to a note within a major scale. So A is always A, and B is always B, but fa is a different pitch within a different major scale. And it relates to where do is in that particular major scale. And so that's why the two systems are useful, like the letter names to refer to the exact pitch, and then the solfege names to refer to how they fit within the scale. Yeah. Although if you go to different places in the world, they use these differently. Some places use fixed do, where the solfege syllables refer to the letter names in Western music, but I use this system where the letter names refer to the fixed pitch and the solfege syllables refer to the relationship between the notes in the major scale. So just wanted to clear that up a little bit. So how this chart works, it may look like a bit of gobbledygook if you've never seen it before. It uses this acronym, which is basically just a fancy scramble up of these letters. And this all starts with C major, because C major, if you've ever taken any music theory, you know that C major is the key with no sharps and no flats. So if you don't see any any sharps or any flats on your sheet music, you are probably in the major scale where C, the letter C, is the solfege pitch Do. So that's a C, and that stands for Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. I think I'm getting a little bit of choral sound again. No, I'm not. Okay, that's good. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. And so based on that, you know that C is Do, and therefore, this is the major scale you're looking at. C to C. And so here we have Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So now you know exactly which letter name corresponds to which solfege function in this major scale. And that's all you kind of need to know. Sharps go around this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they loop around and come back to C for 0 again. And then flats loop around the opposite direction. So if you see something with 3 sharps, you know that it's A major, so it goes from A to A. And it's Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So is E, La is F, T is G, and Do, again, is A. This is a super oversimplification because we also have accidentals, like we have sharps and flats, and this isn't going to help you much if you're like writing music or if you're playing an instrument that requires you to understand like semitones and tones, because then you have to know that like in the key of A, you're going to be playing a C sharp. But for sight singing, it doesn't really matter because it all looks the same on the page. So if you're sight singing a part that only uses notes from the major scale that you're in, it's really, really easy to just go, oh, well, C is this place on the staff. And I know that it either has 3 sharps or 4 flats. So A is Do, which means that the C is going to be Mi no matter what. So that makes it way easier. It simplifies it a lot. If it had 3 sharps, the 3 sharps would be F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. And so the C in the key would be sharp. And if it had 4 flats, then the 4 flats would be B, E, A, and D. So there would be no C flats, it would be a C natural. And so it's going to be a different key, whether it's 4 flats or 3 sharps. But it looks the same on the page in that A is Do, and C is Mi, and E is So, and D is Fa, etc., etc. So that's kind of the point of this video, is that you don't actually need to know exactly what key you're in or understand how flats and sharps work. You don't need all that music theory to be able to look at this and go, okay, as long as A, it doesn't matter what kind of A, if it's A flat or A sharp even, or A, it doesn't matter what kind of A is the Do. If a kind of A is the Do, then a kind of C will be the Mi, and a kind of D will be the Fa. And so you can just look at the staff lines, and if it's any kind of D that you're seeing, you know that you're on a Fa. And then because of the last video that you watched that I put the card up to before, because of that last video, you will know that the Fa sounds a specific way, and you'll know where Do is, and so you'll be able to find the pitch that corresponds to Fa. So let's try this out with some examples. So I'm gonna turn up the choral sound now because I like it for this. So here we have an example melody. First, we have to find out what key it's in. So we look at the key signature here. This has 2 flats. So if we go back, 2 flats is, oh, that's sharps. That's sharps over here. See, 2. But here's flats. So 2 flats is B. So B, in this case, B flat, but that doesn't really matter if we're sight singing. The staff line that corresponds to B is going to be Do. And everything else is going to exist relative to that. So it's going to be, these notes are going to be Do, C is going to be Re, D is going to be Mi, E is going to be Fa, F is going to be So, G is going to be La, A is going to be Ti, and B again is going to be Do. So here we know this is a B, and of course you need to know your note names. Oh wait, let me switch back to Sibelius. There we go. So here we know this is a B, and so You need to know your staff and your note names, like your lines and spaces, your Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge, and your All Cows Eat Grass, and your Face and Great Big Dreams for America, all of those acronyms. If I'm talking gobbledygook to you, just look up like learning note names on the staff. And I might make a video about that too in the coming weeks. But we just know that because there's two flats, and we saw on the chart that two flats corresponds to the letter B. B is going to be our do. Here is the line for B. It's that middle line, and so that note right there is a B. And so everything else, this is a D here. And so D, if we go back, we know that D is do, re, mi. So we can go do, and then sing up in our heads, do, re, mi, do, mi. And that's the first part of our melody. We also have, going forward, this note down here, which is an F, which we can see, if we go back here, we can see that the F is so. So we have do, re, mi, fa, so. But in this case, obviously, you can see that it's the lower version of so it's the lower F. There's a high F up here, right? But then there's also a low F down here. So this is the lower F, so it's going to be so down here instead of so up here. So that we know that these first notes go do, mi, so. Super easy. And then the rest of it is just a matter of that, going so, ti, re, do, la, do, fa, mi, re, do. Try this next one on your own. You can pause the video here. Try to find out first what key is it in. I'll give you the... So based on that, there's 3 sharps. So what key do you think it's in? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to tell you it is obviously... Oops, where's my cursor? A major. There we go. Sharps, there's 3 of them. So A is do. Or the staff space that corresponds to A corresponds to do. Let's go back here. So what note is this? If that's an F, obviously now the A is do, so we start from the A, and it's this combination of notes. So F is do, re, mi, fa, so, la. F is la. How does la sound? We know what do sounds like. Do. So how does la sound like? La. So that's our la. La, so, la. La, ti, so, mi. Do, ti, re, do, ti, mi, ti, so. All right. There's one last... Oh, I wasn't on Sibelius. There we go. La, la, so, la, ti, so, mi. Do, ti, re, do, ti, mi, ti, so. And there's one last example for you that you can try out on your own time. You have to find, first of all, using the Father Christmas Goes Down and Eats Biscuits chart, find which the starting note is, and then find where here you have to start and what combination of notes you are using for this major scale, in what order. Then based on that, for each note, you find where that fits in the scale. And then you use your solfege, your powers of solfege, to sight read the melody. This doesn't take into account rhythm at all, by the way. Rhythm is a totally different thing. You know, if you're using like quarter notes or half notes or eighth notes, that's a whole different thing for sight singing. And I may make a video about sight singing rhythms as well in the future. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for that. Let me know if this video was helpful. I really hope it was. It's just a quick little tip that you can use to kind of skip the really, really difficult, complicated theory behind what makes a major scale and go straight to sight singing. That being said, I don't think this is 100% a replacement for learning that kind of theory. I think it's still really, really important to learn all those kinds of things because they give you so many more tools and a much deeper understanding of what music is and how we relate to it in the Western culture, at least. So I think that's very important to learn if you want to advance your musical understandings. But this is a really, really good place to start because it allows you to start making music and sight reading melodies much quicker and to learn how to develop those skills before you develop that knowledge. And so I think that's very important. because knowledge without skills kind of is just a trivia question. But skills first are helpful, and then knowledge will help you augment those skills, and at least that's kind of how I believe it should be taught. So this is a skills first way of learning about sight reading major scales. Hope this helped. Once again, my name is Mateo Chavez Lewis. Subscribe and leave a comment down below what your favorite major scale is. For me, it's D major. I think there's just something. Wait, let me turn off Sibelius so that I can play you something. I think there's something so beautiful about. Like, I think there's something really warm and beautiful about just the tonal center of D major. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a fantastic day. I will see you next Saturday.